Good evening, everybody, or good afternoon, depending on where you are. Or, oh my goodness, can you hear the guinea pigs? Oh, golly. You're not supposed to be talking. Shush. I don't normally have the guinea pigs in with me. Oh my goodness, can you hear them? Shush. They want to get in on the act. I'm sorry about that. Thank you very much for everybody saying to do a thumbs up, because down along this line somewhere, it will be good. And I have got, despite the fact that it's really shining back, a really, really good bargain. I'm sure that many of you will have heard already that the craft company that has been going for a long, long time, and one of my first ever one that I worked with, Creative Expressions, has decided to close their doors at the end of this month. Whether they will be able to sort a few things out so that some of the lovely products that they have will be able to continue, I really don't know. But basically, the owner of the company has decided he wants to retire, and they have decided that that's the way to go. So subsequently, I've managed to get a really good bargain for you, and I thought I would show you a couple of these. Sue Wilson started my interest, and I have probably got every one of her dies up until more recently. And it is a great, great shame. So they are open, though, until the end of the month. I have spoken to them in length about it. So all is well. It's just an end of an era, really. But as always, with all these craft things going on, it's such a shame because people lose their jobs, don't they? So I have got the fairly new November, these came out, the floral frame 3D embossing folders with the stencils. Now, I'm sure you've possibly seen something like this before. Lisa Horton, I think, was possibly one of the first ones to bring out such a thing. And they're a lovely addition and a sort of like a, almost like a step towards easiness, but then with a little extra if you want to put it in it. So you've got a range of embossing folders. So there's 3 different ones that I've got for you. There's Blossom Wreath, there's Floral Symphony, and the other one is called Ribbon Blooms. I couldn't think what it was. Ribbon Blooms. There was another one in the set called Petal Cascade, but unfortunately they don't have any more of the stencils left. And to be honest, the whole idea for me is that we get doing some of this as well. So I'm going to show you a couple of cards that I've already made with one of each of these, and then I'm going to do a very similar idea as I had done before, but with the Floral Symphony. Now, I'm also going to be using the Precision mini blending brushes, and I've managed to get some back in stock, so you might have seen those there. So it's a set of 3, and you've got flat ends to them, and you've got sort of large, medium and small of mini ones. So I do always use, well, not always, I do often use this type of thing when I've got a bigger area to work with. But when it is the precision ones, I do like to work with just a small area, and you'll see that in the stencil work that we're going to do. So I have got all of those over on the website, and I went to print off a lovely notice board, all done for you. My printer don't work. It says, we can't find your printer, and I'm saying it's here. But yeah, so I'm going to work with this colouring in a minute, but let me just show you the samples that I have made. Just put them there and hope that they don't fall down. Put them over there for a minute. So this one is the Floral Symphony, the one that I'm going to be using in a minute. So this is kind of like your base card. So this is a 5x7 card. The embossing folders are designed to fit into a 5x7 embossing folder there. And I have simply done that with Spundled Sage, which is the green, and then what was it called? Picked Raspberry for the outer petals, and for the inner one a little bit of Rose, which was from Simon Says Stamps. And then I've also taken, if you recall, we had the floral frame sentiments on Wednesday, was it, I think, or last week, or I can't remember. And I've popped that inside because they're kind of meant to go with that. And then when you open it up, I've also gone along and done the little frame. Do you remember I was telling you about that I needed to show you how, if you wanted to carry on your frame from the outside to the inside, just simply cut within the line of these sentiment and phrase panels. I'll show you that in a second as well. So that was the first one that I've done. And then I really love this one. This is the Blossom Wreath. And I think it's beautiful. I've used some coloured card at the background, which I was thinking along sort of slightly different lines, but really delighted how that one comes to. The colours that I've used on here was iced spruce for the leaves. So I've taken more or less the colour out of the background here. So iced spruce. And then I used the Distress ink, Distress Oxide, which was Stormy Sky for the blue there. And then when you open it up, I've put in another of my Trim Me, what do they call? Foiled insert pads. Okay, so I'm going to, without further ado, show you how beautiful these are and how much fun they are, because I really enjoyed doing something like this. So I'm going to take, first of all, this sheet. Now, this is from one of my wildflower packs. And so I'm going to be using that, but I'm actually going to use it that way round. So it's kind of like the wrong way round, but I'm still quite happy to go with that. And I'm going to trim that piece to 5 by 7. So as I said, that's the size of your actual embossing folders. So nothing too large. I'll go in with it like here. So 5 by 7. So that's the base. And whilst I'm here, I'm going to cut some of these little panels here. So I'm going to go with, and trim that down to, let's see, 7 1/4 would be the usual. But I'm going to go to a little bit 7 and, oh goodness, what is that? 3/8, I think, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. 7 3/8. So this one should be 5 3/8 then, shouldn't it? 5 3/8. Oh, look at me getting into inches. I did a class yesterday and spoke in inches as well. I don't usually do such a thing, do I? So let's do those. So I've cut those out, ready to go. So they really are my backing panels. So I'm not overly worried about them, but this will be going onto there like that. Okay, and that's for the inside of my card. And I've got a 6 by 8 card, and those are all the pieces. Okay, so then going to take this piece, because this is the piece that I'm going to be embossing. And let's grab our folder. So this is the one that I'm going to use, Floral Symphony. They are 3D and they are very, very deep. When you get them, most embossing folders are like that now if they're new ones, but they didn't used to be. But where you see the writing is the front of your card. Okay, so that's the bit that you want the front of your piece of paper, which is this piece, to be going in like that. So that slots into my folder. And then I'm going to run it through my Platinum, Spellbinders Platinum 6. So I'm going to pop a very simple sandwich for this for me. So I like that. The base plate, the embossing folder, the 3D one, and then the adapter plate goes on top. So let's just pop that through. Clunk, clunk, clunk. And when I take it out, I don't even know if you're going to be able to see it at this stage. I thought, oh, yes, you can. You can see that it's beautiful embossing. Isn't that gorgeous? I mean, you could almost just leave it like that, to be honest, but that's not what we're going to do. So I'm going to grab the Floral Symphony matching stencils. So as I said, I've got virtually a third off. That instead of it costing you just under the £18, it's costing you £12.99 for the two together. And if you ever fancy having a go at something like this, now's your time, because once they're gone, unfortunately, yes, they will all be gone. So I've got two folders, two stencils rather. One is more so for the flowers, just the flowers, and this one is for the greenery, but there is little elements which are the centres of the flowers. And to give you a really good guide, simply look at the front of your packaging that it came with to be able to see where roughly it's going to be. Okay, now I've got myself a little grip mat here. I'm going to put that down. So I'm going to pop that into place, just straighten that up and press that down because that sort of holds it then. And then I'm going to take my first stencil, and this one is the one with all the flowers. It says, do you know, I just noticed that. It says stencil 2 on there. Okay, we'll do stencil 1 then. So stencil 1. Now you simply pop that over the top of your raised pieces and you'll see that it literally slots into place where the flowers are. It's very simple to line up. I've got the lights shining everywhere, so I can't see it quite so well. And then I'm going to decide what colour flower I'm going to use. And I'm bearing in mind what colour that I've got on going on in the actual piece of card that I had, which is sort of blues and pinks. And I want to go more with a pink, I think. So I'm going to try this one, which is Kitsch Flamingo. I think that's how you pronounce it anyway. And I'm going to just grab one of my pink bigger brushes for this one. So this is a distress ink, not an oxide. And then I'm just going to go over my flowers. And as I said, your actual raised part of your embossed design will just lift up there quite nicely. So all you've got to do is just a little circular movement. And these are going to look so pretty where they're already done on a patterned piece of paper, because they will already look slightly different colours depending on what was behind it. Not sure if you can see that, but those have already got sort of like the bluey purpley tinge. So they're already looking a little different, which is great. So just layer those up a little bit. So these, as I said, are my flowers. And that was my Kitsch Flamingo. Then I'm going to peel that off. And I'm going to pop the blue card. What is the blue card? No idea whatsoever. It's sitting in my stash. I don't know, I'm afraid. Don't know. I really don't know what it is. Sorry, June. Don't know. Just picked it up and thought we'd go in for it. So I'm going to take this one now, and I'm just again hovering that over what we had underneath, and you'll see suddenly that the leaves that are embossed will just pop through so that you can see them properly. And then I'm just going to press that down onto my grip mat. But obviously, if you haven't got such a thing, you can just simply put a bit of tape down, just hold it into place. Now, then comes the beauty of having the slightly smaller brushes. So I've got my brushes here, and I've got a green one with detail. I've also got and the pink one to go in for the center of the flowers. So I want to do those. And I've also got a green brush to put on a little bit extra as well. Now, as to what colour we want to do with it, I'm thinking forest moss. Let me just excuse my arm coming across. And I'm hoping that forest moss is not too dark. Let's see, what do we think? I'll go in down the bottom here. Hold on, that's not looking... Is that straight? Yeah, it is straight, isn't it? Just talking to myself. Hold on, let's lift that up again. Yeah, that way around. That's better. That's straighter. Just thought that had moved a little bit. So just press that down. So I've got my darker colours. Now let's go for a picked raspberry for the centres of my flowers. And as I said, if you're not sure, if you just look at your pattern again, you can see where your flower centres, your darker pieces are going to be. So that's quite simple to follow. I'm going to take my mini blending brush and then just go over the centre of these pieces. So that's down here, another one here, and then we were up here as well. And just with a little small amount, just pressing onto there to the flowers. Just check I've got all of the flowers. Yeah, I'm just going to go over that a little bit as well. It's quite a magical thing, really, because when you take it all off, it looks really quite different, which is what we like. So you can see that those are two different shades of pink, and that seems to work to me quite well to do a flower like that. Now I'm going to take in my forest moss, and I'm just going to, yeah, I think we'd be all right with that. I'm using, to start off with, I'm using the bigger brush, and then I can go in with my smaller brush for the finer details, which this one might not pick up. So I'm just blending over these and trying not to go back over, because obviously if I go back over any of these flower centres with my brush, which has got green on, it will muddy it basically. So I'm just going to go over these. As I said, the embossing stencils and embossing folders combination is not new by any means. And subsequently, you may well have this sort of thing in your stash. But if you haven't, I just went over it. If you haven't, then I strongly recommend, this is such a good price. And it literally is while stocks last. So, you know, if you're thinking of getting something and wanting to have a little play without spending 30, 40 quid, some of them can be, although often they include dies as well, then perhaps now's the time to treat yourself there. So I need to go back in with my picked raspberry because I just did as I said, don't do it. So let's go over that one a bit more. That's going to have a mauve centre now, isn't it? And I think I went in over there as well. So now I can go in with my more detailed brush with the green, with the forest moss still. But now I can just go along these ones that have got like lines in. As I say, there was actually 4 folders and stencil sets, but they haven't got any left already. They haven't got any left of the actual stencils to go with the petal cascades. They've all gone, I'm afraid. So I didn't want to show you something that you can't get hold of. But the ribbon bloom and these ones are really, really nice. So just popping that in. Oh, let's go over these a little bit more down the bottom. Oh gosh, gosh, can you hear my guinea pigs? They're not usually in the craft room, I have to say. They aren't usually in the craft room. But today they are, because we've got a dog visiting who possibly would like to eat the guinea pigs otherwise. So they can't stay where they usually are. During the summer months, they usually live outside. But at this time of the year, they really need to be inside. Otherwise, we'll have frozen guinea pigs instead. So then we have our beautiful reveal. Oh, I love that. Love that. These simply wash off in warm soapy water. The only thing I would say is when you come to dry them, try and sort of let them drip dry and then, or very carefully pat them, because some of them have got very fine lines. They are very well made, but as you can possibly see there, that particular line here is very, very thin. And if you was to catch that with a piece of cloth or something, you then rip it and might not enhance your stencil by doing such a thing. So just warm soapy water, as long as you're using one of the dye-based inks, of course, it shouldn't stain it very much. Sometimes I find the red coloured stain things like that a little bit, but in general you should be fine. So then take my card off of here and then just pop this all together. So, oh no, wait a minute, I want to put a sentiment on. So I'm going to just put a sentiment on first with that. So I'm going to pop that into my stamping platform and I'm going to choose a one out of here, which is the ribbon sentiments, I think. I'll go with a happy birthday, which fits in there beautifully, like that. And then I think that I will try stamping that out in a green colour, because I don't want it to, if I stamp it out in a black, it's going to be really in your face. Hold on, I've got a bit of fluff on there. And I think that this colour should work quite nicely. It's sort of not far off of the forest moss. So the colour that I'm using there is Avocado by Concord and Ninth. You can, of course, stamp with the distress inks, but I often find that they don't stamp very clearly, and I prefer them to be a clear stamp. Like that, which I think that's pretty, isn't it? Yeah. So let's put that to one side. And let's just pop our card. So I've chosen that blue colour because, again, it picks out the blue that was in here. And I'm just going to, I don't want to get that wet where I put the sentiment. So I'm just going to put some glue, because the back is debossed as well, which would give another look completely if that's the way you wanted to do it. I do make sure that I've got glue on any bit that is flattish, because obviously some of the debossed areas, you're not really going to be able to get the glue to it. So that one can go on there, like so. Bring in my card front. Now, if you wanted, of course, you could put some foam on here, but I should be very brave and I shall not put foam on. I did an exceptionally large, deep card on Wednesday, so I'll go the other way this time. As I said, it does fit onto a 5x7, as it has with this one, which is fine. But I just decided to do a slightly bigger one as well. But not everyone has got the larger size 6x8. Whatchamacallits and Ujima flips. Now that's my card base for the inside. So I'm just going to bring in, so if you weren't with me on Wednesday, you won't have seen the Trim Me's. Now the Trim Me are the foiled insert pads. There are 3 different designs that I've got at the moment, which are the happy birthdays, celebrations and congratulations. And each one of those comes in packs which are either with gold foil or silver foil. So I'm using the one with gold, and Oh, I like that one. Close your eyes tight and make a wish. Dreams come true every day. So the simplicity of these is that we just tear one sheet off and then we look on the back, because the Trim Me idea is that on the back is guidelines of all the different card sizes that you might ever wish to have, as far as I'm concerned, from an A5 and an 8x8 right down to a 4x3 or a 4x4. So you can see how small they are. And also they have got portrait or landscape measurements. So if your card that you're using is portrait, like mine is today, you cut them out one way, and if not, you cut it out the other way. And the beauty of it all is that you don't have to look at the front at all, because if you follow the guidelines for each one of the things that you're going for, so I'm going to go for the 5x7, you will find that that sentiment, that verse will come in the middle every time. That is what I like to see. So let me just grab. So as I said, I'm turning it over, paying no attention whatsoever to that part of it, but I need to find where my 5x7, I know you can't see that, but that's a 5x7 bit. So I'm just going to pop that into there. And then I'm going to turn it around. 5x7 is up here. Put that into the guide piece, turn it round, and all I'm doing is following the numbers. So here's my 5x7. Pop that in on my trimmer. And then that one. And then finally the 5x7, which is down here. And again, put that into the slot. And then throw those bits in the bin. But when I turn that over, I have my sentiment, sorry, not my sentiment, my little verse, absolutely in the middle where it should be of a card. And although that was a 6x8 card, this is the beauty of it, that I wanted this to be a panel that goes in the centre, and that will go in the centre like that. So they're designed to fit absolutely, when you cut them out, to the size of the card that you're making, because they are just a little bit less than the size that they suggest. So if it says 5x7, it will be fractionally under, so that you can fit it onto your card base that is exactly 5x7. But I wanted it to fit in a slightly bigger one. But either way, it just fits in perfectly. And as I said before, I just like it because it just kind of finishes the card off. Obviously, not all the cards I do will work out like that, because sometimes you've got to make room for the fancy folds and things. But when you're doing a base card, it's perfect. So pop that onto the middle in the insert. And there you go. There's a beautiful happy birthday. And let's bring in the other versions. So, hold on. You've got exactly the same embossing folder, but used in a slightly different way there. So you've got a smaller card, that's the 5x7. And then you've got the 6x8. And then you've got the blossom wreath, which is one of the other designs, and that's again in the 6x8. And again, it's done on a special background card. I say a special background card, as I said, it's called Wildflowers. It's not special. I've had it before. It is special. It's rather lovely, but it isn't specifically new or anything like that. So you could use your old cards that you've got. Maybe if you've just got the odd one piece of card left and you weren't quite sure what to do with it, maybe try that as an embossed piece, because it does look really, really lovely. So yeah, I can't decide which one I like best, really. I just think they're all rather lovely. And I do like a little bit of colouring without thinking, because basically that's what this is. And as I said, if you're not quite sure what your stencil relates to, there are only two. So sometimes you can get these things where they've got about 10 different stencils, each with a tiny little bit, and that's all very well, but sometimes you don't know what colour to use. So just go by the guidelines that are on the front of your packet, and you can't go too far wrong like that, I don't think. And that's that one, so that you can see where it is, where's the flowers on there. So thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you have a great week. I will be seeing you, if you can make it, on Wednesday this week, which is the 22nd, I think, 22nd of January. It'd be lovely to see you if you can make it. And yeah, have a great week. Otherwise, I'll be here next Sunday instead, with almost a whole month since Christmas gone by then. Oh, it's racing by, isn't it? So it looks by your thumbs up that a lot of you have liked this one today. So thank you. Did I say the background paper? It's called Wildflowers, Peter. I'm not quite sure if I have got any in stock. I did have, but whether you've bought them now, I don't know. So you may have done, but they will be coming in again. And there's another version. I can't remember what that one's called, a sort of yellowy version. So they will all be coming in if they're not in at the moment. But if you look on the website, you may find it. June suggests that maybe the blue is called Air Force Blue. I reckon it's a jolly good colour. But I've really no idea where I got it from, because I got about 2 or 3 sheets and that was it. So there you go. So folks, thank you so much for joining me. Take care, and I will see you later on in the week if you possibly can. But if you can't, it's always on the YouTube channel, maximumcrafts.com, and Maximum Crafts with an S on your YouTube channel at any stage. Okay, everybody. Thank you. See you soon. Bye.